Something that isn't talked about enough is the inherent queerness of magic and witchcraft in general. And I say that as an openly queer person. I say that like that. And I think when I say it, people assume what I mean is that the powers of witchcraft, the powers of magic in general, are inherently like, LGBTQIA plus in some ways. But no, I mean queer in the broadest sense of the word now. I mean queer to mean that which does not conform, that which does not bend to the will of our usual communities and cultures and such, that which exists in almost opposition to anything that is normative. And witchcraft is inherently queer in that way. And I think we forget this because a lot of our traditions, a lot of our practices, a lot of the things that get written in books and published by big pagan publishing houses have come to us directly through this very mid 20th century lens, which, was where we saw the rise of things like Wicca and such. And this is not a Wicca bashing moment. I'm not Wicca bashing. I'm just saying that I think we forget how much of an influence that era around 1950s, 1960s, Britain specifically, England specifically, how much of an influence that culture had on witchcraft as a whole, especially because a lot of the big publishing houses published books that were influenced by those traditions. And because of that, witchcraft has this personality that it presents online and such nowadays that can be very rooted in very strict binaries, that can be very rooted in very strict ideas of masculinity, femininity. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. And this idea that is almost restrictive in its nature rather than explosive in its nature. And it doesn't match my perspective and my experience of witchcraft. To me, witchcraft is very much a reflection of the world in which we live. Witchcraft is very much akin and attuned to the way in which our reality and our natural world operates. And our natural world is weird. It is queer, it is weird, it is out there, it is strange. It cannot be conformed, it cannot be, stuffed into a very neat and pretty box. It completely defies any idea of trying to be something that can easily be understood. It is something that is full of contradiction. The natural world, when you try and shove it into these neat, narrow boxes, it laughs in your face and it tells you, you are wrong. I'm going to show you 70 million contradictions to what you're saying. If you tell me